Tampa, what'd you guys do in Tampa?
Just go to the beach, man. I
Oh
haven't been in the Gulf of America yet.
yeah.
So we went to the Gulf of America.
Hey, hey.
What's Hey, what are you breaking there?
Yeah, how you doing?
Good, dude.
Good, man.
But
Good.
we just came from Tampa. It's in a rush. It was almost 4 hour drive to go back to Orlando, man.
Yeah,
Crazy.
traffic, man. It's crazy.
Yep. Orlando's getting worse and worse with traffic too.
Oh,
So.
I know. Tell me about it, dude. That's why, like, you know, I mean, thankfully the shop is 4 miles from my house,
Hmm.
and within like, a 5 mile radius, they have everything. So
You don't leave.
don't leave. Don't leave. Michelle's always like, "You got to get out of your bubble." I'm like, "Why?" They built everything in the bubble. Like, I don't need to. Yeah.
The
So
15-minute city kind of style.
right, right, exactly. So so Tampa, what'd you guys do in Tampa?
Just go to the beach, man. I
Oh
haven't
yeah.
been in the Gulf of America yet. So we went to the Gulf of America.
Is it any different than the Gulf of Mexico? I mean,
Really, really close. So yeah, no, we are just
yeah.
chilling. I
No,
miss
that's
the
cool.
ocean. That's the part I miss from Portugal is the
Yeah.
ocean. I got everything else in Canada, but the ocean I do.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're just down here vacation?
So
So
we're meeting up with some friends from the UK.
okay.
So they in the mid 80s. So they did like a family reunion down here, and we're
Oh,
not blood family, but we like family. So
yeah.
we
Oh,
came
that's
down.
cool. Yeah.
Couple of meetings at the shop as well. We're launching undercoating, a ceramic undercoating, and a few more products. So I meet up with the boys at the shop yesterday, and yeah,
Milord.
Miller. Couple of meetings with Joel with Apex. It's been
Okay.
insane with that side too. It's crazy,
Nice.
man.
Nice. Yeah. So are you doing that up in Canada? You're
Yeah,
part of it.
I'm.
Yeah. That's right. I saw the
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's me, Don, and some guys from Quebec. Because Quebec is a different because of the French
Yeah.
connection. Like they have to label and pack everything in French, and
Oh
it's
wow.
not just a little label. They have
Yeah.
to do the entire thing in French. Even sometimes translate the brand names
Oh
into
wow.
French. It's insane. The laws. It's like a completely different country.
Wow.
So
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
yeah, every time everything I got, I push towards a distributor in Quebec, and that's it. I don't want to
Let
hear about it.
Yeah. Let them do it.
Yeah, it's insane. I couldn't deal with that. It's they actually raid your facility and inspect every single product you got in the shop, and if you got stuff that's not translated into French or doesn't have a French label, they fine you and they can close your business.
Wow.
Well, Amazon just closed in Quebec because they're done with that bullshit. Because they don't want to label all the products, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
So Amazon actually left Quebec. They fired like 10,000 people and left because they were done. They couldn't do it anymore.
Holy cow.
Yeah, it's insane, man. It's like a different French communist country. Yeah.
Yeah, no, no. I mean, I've never heard that. That has not made it across my TikTok feed yet.
No, no, he won't. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So how's everything been? It's been a few months since I seen you. Last time I saw you, you were taking home second place in the paint
Ooh,
correction the annual first
first
ever
time.
inaugural annual paint correction competition. You took home second place. So congrats again on that. So yeah,
Thanks.
man. What even other than the Apex thing and doing some stuff down here, what else has been going on since last time I saw you?
A lot of training at our shop in St. Albert. Lots. We got another round coming. We start tomorrow with the tint academy, and then we move on to another detailing course, polishing course, leather repair course, PPF, and vinyl wraps.
Wow,
So, and
busy,
then
busy.
we it's busy. It's really busy. The education part it's growing.
Yeah,
There, and that was the need we saw when we opened the shop. Like ourselves, myself and Gary, my partner, we had to travel to the US to have any kind of training, right?
yeah,
So when we decide let's open this shop, it's going to be a distribution center for back then just Owner's Pride. Now it's LRC and Apex. But there was the need for training, and no one was training anyone in Canada properly. There was so we started, and it grew organically. Like
wow,
you offer the people, and we're not pushing training per se. We're actually trying to give back to the guys because
right,
of my connection with IDA and being a trainer for them and whatnot. So there's guys that come back after a month and they say, "Man, I was away for a month. I want to actually go back to detailing. Can I hang out at the shop for a couple of days and kind of get myself into it again?" So things like that they made us really really proud of what
yeah,
we're doing. And it's remote, Ontario, and you might have some decent training, but otherwise there's nothing. There's thousands and thousands of detailers in that country that couldn't have
yeah.
breathed.
I mean, even here, I feel like, and I've been pretty vocal about picking the right training or
Mm-hmm.
doing
Mm-hmm.
proper due diligence. I always try to tell people, like, vet the people that you're trying to get trained like a client is vetting you
Mm-hmm.
for a ceramic coating job or an interior detail job or something like that. Don't just, oh, Joe Blow is didn't get any work this weekend, so or this week, so he's throwing a weekend training together to make a quick,
Mm-hmm.
750 or something like that. Like, check it out. And I feel even here there's a lot of training, but I feel like there's only a select few, at least that in my eyes, that I feel are qualified trainers,
Mm-hmm.
that are doing it the right way, teaching it the right way. Um, some of the other ones I just feels like cash grabs. So that's cool that you guys are kind of doing it organically, like you said, kind of the whole build it and they'll come. You're not out there like, hey, training over here, look at us,
No,
training.
we got a landing page on our website, and that's about it. We thought
Yeah,
about actually creating an academy or call it something else,
yeah,
but no, it's honestly it's been organic. People just hear about us and they start going social media, talking to other people, and they come to us. And like the Tint Academy training this weekend, it just shops that are sending staff to us,
oh,
new
okay,
members for spring, so they're
yeah,
manning up for spring, and they're sending staff, which for us is awesome because we train a lot of the owners, and now they coming with staff, so that means they trust us. We did a good job, and they
yeah.
sending people. They're actually paying to get more people coming training. So
No, that's
that leaves
awesome.
us really happy.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's really good. Um, so I mean, it's I'm from Florida. You're down here. It's been like 90s the past couple of days. Like, so I mean, what's the winter like for you up there? I mean, are you still able to keep busy and get work in, or does it really kind of dry up and slow down?
It definitely slows down. It's a transition. So during this season, when there's no snow on the ground, we're flat out. We can't keep up. We have to man up and can't keep up.
Yeah.
As soon as snow comes in, it slows down and it shifts more towards the interior work
Okay.
because people don't want to polish cars in when it's minus 40 Celsius. No one's going to come, oh, I'm going to polish my car and make it shine. If
Right.
it's a new vehicle, they'll come in for the protection packages. So we still do a lot of PPF and coatings, less of the decons and all that work, but we get more of the interior that we usually don't do. So our the interior pricing is higher than average. So we don't do much of it now because we got the 50, $70 guy that comes
Yeah.
in and do a quick interior, which is fine. They have their space.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
and then we'll fix some after.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
like the cheap polishing jobs, right?
Yeah.
And uh, it, we wouldn't be able to keep up with the same level of interiors if
Yeah.
we did. So I think it's kind of a cycle. In the winter, more of the protection on new vehicles and interior detailing, and then when it gets now, it's like the
Summertime.
decons,
Yeah.
ceramic colorings,
Right.
PPF. My son can't keep up. It's
Wow.
insane, and
Yeah.
that's
I've got a client. She's one of my monthlies. So I go over every Friday. So I was there this morning and washed the car for her. And she's kind of fighting that cheap interior detail in a sense. I mean, not that she went to somebody else, but she has a 911 cabriolet, and like a month ago she had it in the dealership for some work. So they did a free interior detail
quick.
for her,
Yeah.
you know um, threw an ozone machine in the car, to clean it out. And well, no, first it was okay. So first it was they shampooed the carpets, which the car is never dirty. Like it didn't need shampooed carpets, right? So it had a real strong chemical smell
Hmm.
from whatever they used probably in the steam cleaner or whatever. Um, so I had said something to her and I was like, "Did you like no offense, but kind of offended? Did you go, have somebody else detail your car?"
Detail your vehicle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And she's like, because I've been taking care of her car for like almost 3 years now, and all she ever has me do is wash it, like nothing else, right? And so I'm like, does she not think that I'm, a real detailer? Like, you know. So she's like, no, no, no. I had it at the dealership doing some work, and they did a complimentary. She goes, yeah. She's like, the smell is killing me. She's like, I contacted them. They want me to bring it back. And I was like, okay, whatever. So next week is when it had the ozone smell to it. And I
Hmm.
was like, oh man, they ran an ozone machine in your car, didn't they? And she's like, yeah. She's like, and that smells too. And it was funny because this was right after we had, I had the guys from Biobombs
Hmm.
on,
Hmm.
on the
Hmm.
podcast, Christian
Yeah.
and Godfrey. And so I'm like, hey, look, like tell them to not run an ozone machine and it's really bad for your car. Like, you need to do chlorine dioxide because I've been doing that for years and I just think it's a better smell. And she's like, well, she's like, they 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 want it back. They're gonna have another like they're gonna take it to
Uh,
another detailer. So like not the in-house detailer. They're gonna
yeah.
actually take it to a detailer and have him do it. And I was like, okay, just tell them you want chlorine dioxide. Like, you don't want the ozone machine.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it kind of went away or whatever. But then I went there this morning and washed the car, and I swear, and she just told me like, because last week I didn't do the car because it was back at the dealership for work.
Hmm.
And this morning I opened up the door and it just the like that stale ozone
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
hit me in the face. I'm like, oh my god, this lady just. I mean, I get it. I get the Porsche dealership is like, let us fix it. But I told her, I said, listen, tell them you have a detailer. Just tell them to reimburse you for me doing it, and I'll fix it.
Hmm.
I'll make it
Hmm.
right. So
Oh man, it's a different world. I don't understand them. They don't.
yeah, yeah. So I get those, like you said, there's a place for the $50, whatever detailers, and then you guys fix them. That's what I'm trying to do right now. Is I'm trying
Yeah.
to fix her car. I'm almost at this point just gonna take her a tablet and be like, look, just drop this in a cup of water and be done with it, you know?
Yeah, a little pro bono just for the
Yeah,
industry.
yeah, exactly. She's paid me, for the last almost, I think it's been right around 3 years or almost 3 years. She pays me every month to come out and do her car, and her car, it's a Porsche. It's a convertible Porsche too, so, like, it takes me literally, like, 20 minutes to do a
Hmm, hmm.
waterless wash on it and vacuum out the
Yeah,
inside. Like, I'll give you a $10, $20, bio
bio
bombs
bomb.
just throw it in a cup of water and be done with it, kind of thing. So yeah, it's so funny the way that people think with that stuff or whatever. Um 'Cause that smell kills me.
Oh yeah,
So
we've been trying to educate more of the dealership. Actually, that's on the training part. We want to go more in the dealership, and that's something we're working on the IDA Canada as well,
oh, nice.
training some of the dealerships. And if it's a greet the meet with the guys and kind of elevate their industry,
Yeah.
it, that's a problem with dealerships. The approach, and I think in the states, is kind of moving forward with some big dealerships educating the guys. They still see it as a place where they lose money,
Yeah.
and they don't see as a profitable part of the organization. So now you see like Rod and Jody, they had that big event they went to, and there's like dozens of detailers getting certified, and they
Yeah.
actually had training with Rob Rasman and other guys, and the roundtable is helping a little bit too. And
Nice.
I think that's fascinating because these guys, I met some at the MTE, and they're proud to be detailers. They wear the colors now.
Right.
They're not just a sketchy guy in the back of the dealership. They actually they feel empowered, and the
Yeah.
dealership can make money out of this,
Yeah,
right?
you're
Yeah.
you're absolutely right. I mean, Jason, one of the owners of Aquatech, this year he went and took a job at a dealership in Ohio near him. It's a Porsche Mercedes or no Porsche Audi BMW dealership, and it was more for just him to get out of the house for a few hours, and then he thought like, okay, maybe this is a way I can introduce Aquatech because it's a private family owned dealership. It's not a big, Auto Nation or something. Um, oh, did I lose you? Are you frozen? You still there, Paulo? Oh, oh,
Yeah,
there.
I
Okay,
think
okay,
this.
there you are.
Yeah,
There you are. You were frozen
disconnected.
for a second. I was
Yeah,
like, oh,
yeah. Back.
um, yeah,
The
yeah.
Wi-Fi. I'm at the Airbnb
Oh,
Wi-Fi, and
yeah.
oh.
Oh, gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, but Jason went there, and it's crazy, dude. Like, I remember the first day he messaged me, and he's like, dude. He's like, they've got one wool pad for the rotary machine that looks like it's been here since
Hmm.
the 70s, like and he was saying the same thing. Like a
Yeah.
lot of the guys there want to do better, but the dealership's not really like ready to throw money at it. Like they kind of are, but they kind of
Hmm,
not.
hmm.
And he was even showing me he sent me some pictures yesterday. So they outsource their PPF and ceramic coating to supposedly one of the top shops in town. And he was showing me a brand new Audi that came back from them to get ceramic coating. And when Audis, they come with like all that plastic film and everything all
Hmm,
over it.
hmm, hmm.
So when the detail shop went to coat it, they didn't remove all the adhesive that was still on the car from
Yeah,
when
yeah.
the dealership peeled. And it's like, so he's trying to talk to the dealership and be like, look, man, like I can come in and set you up. Like I know PPF, I have a ceramic coating company. And like you said, they just don't see the value in it. And they're just like, they're more worried about if they mess up paint, of having to fix it. Whereas if this detail shop messes it up, then they have to fix it, kind of thing. And so I was telling him, I was like, yeah, but if you explain to them how much cheaper you can do these, PPF jobs and coding jobs in house, that even if you did mess up paint, and they had to fix a, fender or a bumper or something, it's still going to be less money than they're
Hmm.
paying, this other detail shop. So yeah, you're right. I mean, even my buddy who works for Simon Eyes, like Simon Eyes has their ceramic coating that's sold at the dealership because it's got a third party warranty, so it's, hey, it's a full warranty kind of thing. And he goes to these dealerships and teaches them, how to use the Simon Eyes products to do paint correction, how to use the coating or whatever. And then he'll go back and the guys are just opening up the ceramic coating boxes and throwing a warranty on the dashboard as they put wax on it. And he's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "We don't have time to like paint correct it, ceramic coat it. So
Yeah,
we just
yeah.
throw the warranty on the dashboard and throw a coat of wax on it." It's like,
Yeah,
what?
it's full of the yeah. We're teaching a guy from body shop and dealership world, and the same wool pad with a rotary. Nothing against it. I love the
Yeah,
tool, but
yeah,
if you're getting kids and the turnaround is pretty heavy on the dealerships, and you're getting these kids coming in, and you just give him a 20-pound DeWalt with the 7-year-old
yeah,
wool
exactly.
pad that
Yeah,
hasn't been cleaned ever,
yeah,
just baked with clear
yeah.
coat and
Been dropped
old
on the
poly.
floor and kicked around
Yeah,
the shop a few times. Yeah,
that's your risk, is giving that tool to a kid or whatever comes
oh
up,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So once we train with the basic system like our OP polishing system or whatever, so something
yeah,
that works properly and is efficient, they just looking at us like, so that's it?
yeah,
Yeah, that's all you got to do. So that's all I need? Yeah, you need one compound, poly, and finish, and a couple of pads. That's all you need. And the guy's like, okay, this is much easier than we're doing, and the
yeah,
results are much better. See, right? That's your
yeah,
efficiency.
yeah,
Now you're making money. The dealership is making money. Yes, there's a small investment. You got to buy a bottle of
yeah,
polish and
yeah,
a couple of
yeah,
pads every
yeah.
now and then. But
Right,
yeah.
right. That was kind of my pitch to the car wash before I left, um, of bringing this stuff in because my pitch to the owners, and I mean we had a really good working relationship on and off for a number of years. Um, was I told him, I said, why are like you guys spend all this money for technology in the tunnel, but we're still detailing cars by like 1970s,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
standards. The technology has changed, everything's changed. Why don't we? And it took a little bit of me kind of poking and prodding before, he finally was like, all right, look, just don't spend a ton of money, buy whatever you need to buy, so me and the GM, we went out and we bought two Rupes, Bigfoot ES 21s. We bought, you know the Rupes system because we didn't really know anything, and this was
mm-hmm,
2000, sort of been 2015ish, maybe 2016, something like that. So the Bigfoot had pretty much been out for maybe a year or so at that
mm-hmm,
point. Um, and we started introducing that at the car wash is how we were doing our buff and waxes, in
mm-hmm,
a
mm-hmm.
sense. And it was crazy because you could definitely get a way better, result than with the old,
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
we had, the DeWalt or the Milwaukee or the Makita or whatever, just random rotaries that we had and everything. Um, and be more profitable, and the biggest sell for the owner that really got him on board was like, hey man, uh it's gonna be really hard for somebody to burn paint with these
Mm-hmm,
machines,
mm-hmm.
so we don't have to, pay the painter as much, if we burn an
Yeah,
edge
yeah,
or burn
yeah,
a panel or, the ding dongs that run the rotaries on the rubber
yeah.
trim around the windows, and then we're buying, rubber trim or, um, I even saw a few guys that, this was this was way early on. The cars and trucks that have the whip antennas, get too
Mm-hmm,
close to
mm-hmm.
that and snap off
Yeah.
a whip antenna, so yeah. So, telling them, it might save us a little bit of money, got them on board pretty quick.
No, and that's it. If they're actually approachable and let us get in, it's so easy to upsell
Yeah.
a system that works, right? It's like we've been to body shops the same. They the big old rotary with the wool pad. And once again, nothing against the tool. I love the tool. I use it all the time. But
Yeah.
and that environment, and you prove like I had one guy that I've been doing this for 20 years. No freaking way you're going to tell me otherwise. You fancy tools and blah, blah, blah. So we have a black Range Rover. That told, okay, do your thing on the front door. And he was there for like 20 minutes grinding the paint on the door. And then I did a quick two step on the back door, and I did a one step on the rear panel. And
Uh-huh.
actually, as soon as we're finishing this, the owner of the shop comes in. Oh, that Range Rover is so shiny. And okay, what's your favorite panel on those? And she looked, they all look the same. Exactly.
Yeah.
For the most of people, they all look the same. So now
Yeah.
you spend 20 minutes on that door. I probably spend 5 on that one and 3 on the other one. So who's winning? And
Yeah.
the guy they bought they got bought a Rupus polisher. They got a OP polishing system. They got it all. So it's
Nice.
from a guy that swore to me that wouldn't change. He
Yeah.
told me I'm not going to change.
Yeah. My biggest thing I think with dealerships, I think the hard like get in the door kind of thing is, and I don't know how it is in Canada, but here there's a lot of like big businesses, Taft Seal, Auto Butler, like those types of things. Um, and because they're so big and they have such a foothold on so many dealerships that they can just come in and be like, we're only going to charge you dollars per
Mm-hmm.
car
Mm-hmm.
in a sense. Whereas, if a detailer is going to go into it, the detailer is going to be like, look, that's a $350 job all day long. I don't care that you're giving me, 50 of them in a
Mm-hmm.
month, whereas the Tefsil and the auto butlers and everything will be like, okay, cool. That's $100, detailer or whatever. And it's times 50, kind of thing. And that's where I think for detailers, it's a little bit hard to try to get into dealerships
Deal.
unless you're going to put together a business model that can compete against the auto butlers and the Tef
Mm-hmm.
Seals and whoever else is out there to be able to do it. One of the guys I know here in Orlando, he had the Central Florida Ferrari dealership forever ago, and when the ownership kind of changed, um, he lost his contract because Tefsil came in and was basically doing all of the detail work for a similar price. But they said, hey, we'll go wash the cars every day at no charge on the lot, spray them down,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And he was like, no, I got to charge you at least a couple of dollars per car because that's work for me to do. And so, kind of just because of that savings, like, $2 times however many used cars and Ferraris or whatever they had sitting outside that needed to be rinsed off and kind of wiped down or whatever every day. He lost the contract and they gave it up to Tef Seal. So that's I think is a hard part too for detailers to try to compete against.
Yeah, and that the good thing, the mindset is changing. I think for some dealerships because they're going over with quality and they see the profit margins they can get from the detail center, which
Yeah.
was a cost up till now. So we're doing a little experiment here with OP Orlando, and we're actually working with a group of dealerships. They have one of those cheaper service providers
Yeah.
they're not happy with because what they're doing is they're scratching cars because yeah, it's a free wash, and exactly what happened at that BMW dealership is that that company is doing the free washes. They have a maintenance contract to the dealership, so they have guys in house detailing cars full time, but they're scratching the cars. So it's fine with us because we're gonna now unpolish the vehicles and we're showing the dealership the quality of work. Like we have no
Nice.
cars coming back. The quality is top notch. We're doing PPF tint, whatnot. The other guys are just
Yeah.
still scratching cars, and cars coming back with clients complaining about the quality, missing stuff, broken stuff inside the vehicle. So The dealership is now approaching the shop and saying, okay, could you guys kind of lower your price a little bit, but we'll give you a lot of work and get rid of these other companies that it's just a
Right.
profit center, right? That they got a big contract probably with all the BMW dealerships,
Yeah.
so they don't care. They
Right.
lock the
And
contract.
that's the other thing too. I mean,
Yeah.
my days from the car wash, and I don't know how different it is now, but I remember my days in the car wash when, especially when I was in charge of the detail shop, when the guys would want to come off the front line and work in the detail shop, and if we didn't think they were good enough, they'd have a hissy fit and stomp their feet. And I remember a couple of guys, ended up quitting, and then they go and get a job detailing at the dealership, and they're like, "Oh, they gave me a job at the dealership." And I'm like, "Based off of what? The fact that you worked here? Like you have no experience?" Like, so I always, and I could be wrong. I mean, I know plenty of guys that work at dealerships and do dealership work that are top notch detailers, but to me, I feel like, a lot of it is that, you know, it's just somebody looking for a job, really. It's no different than the kid
Hmm.
working at the
Hmm.
car wash, and we had great detailers at all the car washes I ever worked at, and then we had other ones that it was just like, it's a job, like I got a job, I can do this
Hmm.
thing, whatever. And then there were guys that were enthusiastic about it, like they made sure that they were doing the best job they possibly could, and not missing anything, and putting out the best work. And then when they were talking to the client, it became their client. Every time the client would pull up, be like, "Hey, is so and so here? Because my car needs to be done now." So,
Hmm. Hmm.
um and you probably get that, with everybody. I mean, even in the detail industry, there's those guys that are next level, and then people that are just doing it because easy, low bar of entry. Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. It's like
yeah,
any other industry. But I think if you get those guys that actually show up and they care, and if you give them a little bit of power with training and some visibility, it's not just one guy, but you
yeah,
created that relationship with the client, even, right? It's fantastic because I see the detailer a little bit
yeah,
like a barber. I don't go to just any barber. I
right,
go to my barber, right? And like you said, you got your clients. If you create that relationship, even at the dealership, and my background working in dealerships back in Portugal, we actually grew the dealership offering a high quality service in the detailing bay because the clients they came in with their Grand Cherokees. I was just talking about it with someone the other day, and they would come with the Grand Cherokees to detail, and we provide such a good quality service cleaning the Grand Cherokee with which was the dog car back in the day to
yeah,
take the car to the beach, the dog to the beach. That they start coming lining up. We had days we had more Bentleys, Ferraris, and Astons than actually Jeep Grand Cherokees to wash because the clients, oh, your detailing center is awesome. Can I bring my Ferrari? Can I bring my Aston? And they create a really good relationship with us based on the detailing bay. And that helped the
yeah.
dealership grow a lot. Just having a top-notch detail center in the dealership. So once again, it's a question of changing the mentalities
Yeah,
and get these
exactly.
guys going.
And that's something that, I like what Kirk is trying to do with the roundtable. I wish, there's been talk about it with the IDA, but then it kind of never gets heard from him again. But, the whole trying to make this, um, like a recognized technicians kind of training or whatever, that it could be provided in
Hmm.
either, the VOTEC schools, or the colleges or something like that, just like, electricians and plumbing and things like that. I think would be a big step forward for this industry if those things could happen, because then not only, for the car washes that are still doing detailing, the dealerships, and then, just detailing facilities, like to have that better, um I don't want to say recognition, but that better understanding. Like,
Hmm.
like like if you're going to a mechanic or a plumber or an electrician, most of the times, they've gone through some kind of VOTEC. Now, obviously, like the master electrician or whatever, and then he has his apprentices and they learn under him, but then eventually they become masters. Same thing with mechanics;
Hmm.
they
Hmm.
become master ASE certified. That type of stuff. I think it would be huge for detailing if we could have something like that where it was, looked upon a little bit better and with more recognition. Um, I don't know. Maybe one day.
We work on it. I sit in a couple of boards, and the
Yeah.
work is towards that. And specifically, we realize that the dealership world is probably going to help us achieve that
Yeah.
because of the numbers,
Yeah.
right? It's also a numbers game. If you show up to a government entity and, okay, we represent 3,000 people in the industry, and they probably don't really care about you. But now, if you add all the detailers
Yeah.
in dealership world, you probably show up with 20,000 people
Right.
representing those 20,000 in that 2 or 3,000. So there's a shift coming. I think having the guys from the UK, they have a
Okay.
different perspective. They did a great job
Nice.
with that chapter as well, and having the guys more involved. It's been a heavy structure. I think we're trying to modernize it a little bit, make it more functional. A lot of the boards are doing fantastic work. So it's not as fast as we
Y-
want because we got to deal with
Yeah.
50
Yeah.
different
And it'll
states,
never,
different
yeah, it'll never
regulations.
be,
It's
they, what is it? They always say the overnight success took, 20 years to do, kind of thing, so,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
yeah, I mean, I
yep.
get that it's not a snap of the fingers and it's, going to change tomorrow kind of thing. But that's good that it's at least, you guys are working more towards it because, the last real time that I had any talk with somebody with the IDA was it was kind of like, in its infancy, and it probably still is, but I mean, it was really
Mm-hmm,
kind of like a thought and it's like, okay. And then I know when I talked with Kirk, Kirk's working, with I guess like his local city with trying to do it and then hopefully get it,
mm-hmm,
then go to the
mm-hmm.
state and then hopefully if he can get one state, then it kind of domino effects. Well, hey, this is what we're doing here. We want to do it in your state, and then hey, we want to do working over at these two states, we want to do it in your state. So that's to me, I think it's cool that there's two different entities that are trying to do the same thing. So hopefully and they work together for the most part. Uh,
They
yeah,
do. They a lot of
yeah.
yeah, a lot
So
of the
hopefully
work
the
is
two
combined. Yeah.
working together on this will maybe it'll come a little bit quicker than if it was just one of them working on it.
Mm-hmm. And I think they actually clicked really well, and I eventually we're going to bring it to Canada too, because I think the IDA, the role would be
Yeah,
more of the certification and make sure the standards are there, and then there will be organizations like the Roundtable actually providing more of the training and not so
right.
much the
Yeah.
certification itself. So I think we work together. The same with the ADA. Yes, it's a separate association, but being kind of under the IDA
Yeah.
and everybody playing together, I think that's what's
Oh
going to
yeah,
raise the
absolutely.
industry, right? It's not people fighting. It's we got to step away from these egos and big names and
Yeah.
whatnot,
It'll
and
never
just
happen.
move on and
It'll never
build it.
it'll never happen.
No, it's the shift.
I
We'll
know.
see. We
It's
all will kind of alpha in
yeah,
this
I mean, I've
industry
gotten to the
here.
point now where I just, the blinders go on, and I just try to stay in my own little lane here. Even now when I scroll through Facebook, like I typically will scroll right past a lot of the detailing groups unless something really pops out, and grabs my attention, somebody showing something really cool or somebody's asking a question that's, um really really catches my eye, but all the other nonsense I just try to, you know, like Dory, like Yeah,
what's the best code.
Like Dory and Nemo, right? I just keep scrolling, just keep scrolling, just keep
Yeah,
scrolling. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's funny too because
I wish I had $10 for every time they
oh
ask what's the
yeah,
best
I know. Yeah, and
code.
it's funny too because like I don't know why like I get
Okay.
so many people um now that send me a request to follow their detail page, their business page. This podcast is sponsored by Detailed Image. What sets Detailed Image apart? Their outstanding customer service and fast shipping on 3,000 detailing products from almost 100 brands, plus their extensive product descriptions, detailing blog, and how to guides make it easy to choose the right products for any job. And here's the best part: listeners of the Detail Solutions podcast get an exclusive 15% off with the promo code DSP15. That's DSP15 for 15% off your order. Another option for the pros listening is their incredible wholesale program that saves you on average of 15 to 30% off. In 2024, wholesalers saved on average of $699. There are no fees, no commitments, and no subscriptions, just huge savings. Join today at detailedimage.com /wholesale /DSP, and you'll get a bonus $20 credit when you make your first purchase. Again, for the wholesalers, that's detailedimage.com /wholesale /DSP and get an extra $20 credit. This podcast is sponsored by Autofiber. Let me tell you about Autofiber. If you're in the detailing world and not using their gear yet, you're seriously missing out. These guys aren't just throwing out basic microfiber towels, they're making tools that actually help you work smarter and get better results. Their Saver applicators, total game changer for ceramic coatings. You get smooth, even coverage without wasting product. And their Duo towels, super soft, super absorbent, and they don't leave lint behind like the cheap stuff. Autofiber is one of those brands that just gets it. They're constantly innovating, listening to detailers, and putting out top tier products. And here's the kicker: if you use the code DSP10 at checkout, you'll save 10% on your order. That's right, quality products, and you get a deal. So go hit up autofiber.com, use the code DSP10 at checkout, grab what you need, and thank me later. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I lost my train of thought. Whatever. Um, I'll throw a commercial in at that point.
Hmm.
I'm doing commercials again for everybody
No,
who
it's good.
maybe just skipped past that. Hopefully didn't. Um, yeah, oh, I know what I was saying. So I get a lot of people, and I don't know if you're the same way. I get a lot of people that invite me to like or to follow their like detailed business page.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I'm going to say this right now on the podcast for anybody who's listening. Please do not invite me to like your detailing business page. I'm not your client, not your customer. I don't like those automatically decline. I just decline. I'm not going to follow your business page. Please don't follow my business page if you're a detailer. I don't want you following my business page. uh,
And yeah, that's a good question because like people keep on saying I got all the invites. Like you should cater to your client. Don't waste time with all
yeah,
the other
exactly.
detailers. Just
Exactly.
focus on your
Yeah.
target client, and that's
Yeah.
it. Like,
I mean, I don't get it, it's funny. I'm in a local group here, and it's for local detailers in Orlando. And it's funny because there's guys that'll go in there and post ads for their business. And it's like,
mhm.
you realize this is a detailing page full of detailers that are basically your competition, and you're putting an
Yeah.
ad. Like, what are you doing?
No, no, that's not. Yeah, just go to your chamber of commerce or local businesses and focus on that, and not other
Yeah.
detailers and likes on Facebook. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
glad the algorithm
So,
is changing too now, especially with Instagram. It seems to be more open to other people, like not just the followers. Or
oh,
yeah,
is
I
it?
think it's
I don't know. I don't even really go on Instagram that much anymore.
the shit's really good on social Instagram. I
I
see
do
a big
I do
change.
a little I do a little bit of I do a little bit of Facebook just to kind of because that's where most of my friends
There you
are,
go.
to see what they're up to. I occasionally will just browse Instagram, but usually not more than a couple of minutes, and then I'll get lost in TikTok for a few hours a day, but then I'll go like a week without going on it and then get sucked into it again. So TikTok's my guilty vice or my whatever. And it's getting ready to go away tomorrow, so I don't know. We'll see. Wait, lose you again?
I
I
have
can see you.
to see if my
You're
Wi-Fi.
you're moving.
Let me try something else here.
Okay. There we go.
Okay. I think it's the Wi-Fi, so I'm gonna go on the network.
Oh, okay.
This guy probably gonna cost me 300 Canadian dollars.
uh, just
Okay.
write it off. It's an
Yeah.
expense. Yeah, just write it off. Um. So what I want to know, or what I'm curious about is, so you're from Portugal. So how the move from Portugal to Canada?
2008, that glorious economical year happened. So I had from the dealership, I moved to a detailing environment.
Okay.
I was in charge of a Jeep dealership, and then the clients keep on coming after detailing and detailing,
Yeah.
and they start bugging me. They in England and Germany and all these places they're from, they had these mobile units coming to their houses. And, okay, that's pretty cool. And we're talking 2002, 2003. In Europe, it wasn't a big deal. So it was really, really high end stuff only.
Okay.
And my wife was back then working real estate, and a friend of theirs had a van built in Scotland, pressure washers, water tanks with compartmentized, so the van wouldn't shake with the water, blah, blah, blah. Super high tech. And they had to go and relocate back to Scotland because of family issues. So they're selling that van. So one Saturday I went with Richard and went from I don't want to go wash cars in the sun to this is actually pretty cool. So go back to the wife working on the financing, brought the van, quit the dealership, and everybody's kind of so you're gonna quit this gravy job to go and wash cars?
Yeah.
So, yeah, okay, I'll try this. So yeah, from one day of training, I went and opened the business the next week, and I started detailing, mobile detailing, like luxury high-end houses and cars and whatnot. Uh, in 4 years, we have 5 vans in the road on the
Oh
road,
wow.
detailing vehicles at dealerships and whatnot. 2008 come, all these dealerships go bankrupt. The clients disappeared because it's all financing guys, and
Yeah.
the stock market crash, and they all
Yeah.
disappear from us. These houses are registered offshore and whatnot. Like there's no ownership, no one comes back, right?
Right.
So Edith, my wife, she said, "Well, you know what? I should look at going back to Canada and check things out." And initially, once again, I like this here, but yeah, the economy sucks. So she went for a month to Edmonton, Alberta. She created a budget. With that budget, she comes back after a month and showed me the numbers, and immediately you sold everything and moved to Canada.
Oh wow.
So
So when you came to Canada, was it like immediately get back into detailing, or did you do?
not at all,
Okay.
not at all. Waiting for work visas first, almost 2 years. We
Oh,
moved into a basement suite, no garage, no contacts whatsoever. Um, I didn't want to go work at the dealership, whatnot, so I waited for my visas and I actually start working oil and gas.
okay.
Uh, Forgot about all detailing. The bug was always there, detailing my own cars and flipping cars, buying cars, polishing them, cleaning and selling them. And my cousin, or my wife's cousin, had a Mustang that he goes to these car shows, and then he saw my work in Portugal, so he kind of, well, we should we should give it a try. You want to buy some products and detail my Mustang? So it's a Mach 1, a 72 Mach 1, like
Oh,
basically
nice.
1,000 horsepower, like everything and anything in that car. So I detailed the car, go to a car show, best of the 70s. The next show and shine, he wants that one again. So kind of organically, some of the guys start talking to me, hey man, you want to polish my car and whatnot. So it kind of build up to the point I was still working oil and gas during the day and go back home around 5 o'clock and do a ceramic coating or polishing a vehicle. And the next day, the garage system in and out same day or next
Yeah.
day. It's all rotating cars. My kids started helping in the studio. There was our garage. And then I start training people out of my garage as well. And then someone connect me with Owner's Pride because they were opening Canada about
Okay.
6 years ago.
Yeah.
So that's how I became their rep initially, and then in charge of their training across Canada and all that good stuff. And till they one day they offered me the position of opening an OP shop up in Canada, which became the distribution center for OP Canada, and that became I became a partner in that too as well.
Nice. And then you're the one that opened. Are you the one that opened the OP shop here in Orlando?
No,
Or
those are my partners that moved from Canada, the
okay.
owners of Owners Pride Canada. They
Hmm.
moved from Canada during COVID to the US.
Right.
Initially, Omaha, Nebraska, HQ for OP with Damon.
Yeah.
And then from there, they moved to Florida and opened the OP Auto Spa,
Okay.
which it's another success with inside our network.
Yeah.
So
No,
there's
it's good.
three big shops now. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because and the reason why I thought it was you is because I think when I first saw it popping up, I think I saw you kind of associated with it
Mm-hmm,
a
mm-hmm.
little, or whatever more. No, I think it's great. I'm glad that it's worked out for Milord, because it's when I met Mike at MTE probably 3 years ago or so, maybe.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Um, and it was the year that we actually um, podcasted live from the Detailers Yard Map booth, and met Mike because he was a fan of the show, and he was standing around talking, and I was like, dude, sit down, man, let's have a chat. And just instantly, like, I was like, this guy's just awesome.
Mm-hmm.
He's
Yeah,
very
top
humble,
notch.
very very
Yeah.
soft-spoken. And at the time, he was living like a couple hours away or whatever, North Orlando, like kind of in the middle of nowhere, struggling to even have clients because the population was so low. Drives his car down to Mobile Tech to be able to attend and go to the trainings, and then his car dies on him here.
No.
And he's like, and we're talking to him, and he's just like, yeah, like, I don't know, like, I'm kind of stuck here. I mean, I guess he did have family here, so he
Mm-hmm.
was like, at least I got some family down here. But he's like, I'm gonna try to like figure something out to buy a cheap, $1,000 car or something to where I can get back home. And then a couple of weeks go by, and I'm talking to him, and he's like, yeah, like, I'm still here. Like, I ended up sticking around. And I'm like, oh, dude, that's awesome. Like, I'm glad. If you ever, need anything, like, let me know. Like, I'll be more than happy to try and help you out. And then, he's like, dude, I got this job at the owner's pride shop, and I'm like, dude, that's awesome. Like, I was so happy for him because, like, just all that pressure that he was kind of under, and like, everything that kind of happened to him with the car situation and not knowing how he was going to get back home to like landing that spot with you guys. And it seems like he's doing a kick-ass job for you
Oh
guys.
yeah, man.
Like,
Like he's
I see him come up in the TikTok, hey, it's Mike from Owners Pride Orlando, and we got this, and like I see him, doing all this stuff, and I'm like, dude, that guy, like if anybody deserved it, is that guy, like
no, yeah,
I
he's
love Mike for that.
top notch, top
Yeah,
notch. Yeah, he's doing every now. He's actually managing the shop because we have more
yeah,
and more employees with all the dealership work, and the shop is growing. New marketing strategy. The campaign is incredible,
yeah.
and now he's doing the sales. He's more of the front man. Like
Yeah.
so,
No, that's
we're yeah,
awesome. Yeah.
yeah.
And I mean, after MTE, I begrudgingly got dragged there by Jackie because Jackie's like, let's go, come on, let's go. And I'm like, Jackie, I just want to go home. I'm tired. It's, like late Saturday. She's like, come on. And I was like, fine, let's go. She's like, it's on your way home anyways. It's like halfway. And I'm like, and I like looked at it and I'm like, shit, she's right. And I'm like, okay. Cause that was the first time I've been there, and it's a nice setup, man. You guys got a
Yeah,
nice,
yeah.
a whole nice little gig there and everything like that. So it's a really cool spot, man. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna develop a few new things, and probably we're gonna add a mezzanine to the shop area as well because we're growing also with the distribution, a special leather repair company.
Yeah.
So that's our warehouse for leather repair company USA,
Oh, okay.
and it's growing quite fast too. So we're probably adding a mezzanine, clean room for PPF because they're doing more and more PPF.
Yeah.
No, the guys are doing a kick-ass job. It was an honor to start this with them and train the guys. We still do a lot of training. Actually, uh, June 26, 27, 28, we got OP training and LRC training at the shop,
Oh, okay.
and IDA certifications as well.
Oh, nice.
So,
Now,
yeah.
is that the only like OP shop in the States, or do you guys have other? Because I mean, I know you guys have other OP installers,
Yeah,
but they're not technically OP shops. Like I know,
correct.
Ray's out on the the coast or whatever, but he's not an OP shop or whatever. So do you guys have other like OP shops around the States, or is this kind of like a
So
trial one? Or
no, there's three of them. So Omaha, Nebraska, that Damon
oh, yeah, the
owns.
original one.
So
Yeah, okay.
that's the
Yeah,
original,
yeah,
and then this one, and ours in Canada. We are
okay,
OP Saint Albert.
right,
So those three are kind of the flagship shops and distribution centers, and then
okay,
eventually, organically, I think we're going to create a few more. There's a
yeah,
few plans in the pipeline,
yeah.
but
That's
yeah, then we got the distribution, the installer network, but
right.
they're not per se owners pride shops, right?
Right,
They
right.
just
They're
install. Yeah.
they're their own shop, but they
Mm-hmm.
they install OP and everything like that. Yeah, no, I was just curious because I mean I knew the original one in Nebraska, but I only knew of this one here, and then of course yours in Canada, but I didn't know if there was any other ones or any plans for any other ones. So yeah, I was curious.
Those are the three. Yeah, Dustin in California. It's basically one, but still has
Yeah.
his name. But that's why we test all the products, all the synergy, the products, everything is tested on our shops. Like
Right.
I just have a couple of secret sauce bottles over there that I'm taking to Canada because we done the testing here in Florida, we done
Okay.
the testing in Omaha, and now I'm gonna take the,
You
that
gotta go.
ceramic up to the cold weather and see
Yeah.
how it
That's
works
how
up
it
there.
does in the snow and the salt and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 So it gives it that perspective. Everything we don't we actually Damon develops all these products with a chemist. It's
Right.
not another white label product.
Yeah.
So he designs the products from scratch. We test it in the shops. There's probably dozens of cars using the product that we install, sometimes for free on the client's car. Just if it's a returning client that we
Right.
see frequently, we like, okay, can we ceramic coating your vehicle? And yeah,
Yeah.
sure. So we ceramic coat, we undercoat, we whatever we're testing, and then we see that car frequently on real life conditions.
Yeah.
Because we got the lab tests, and that's awesome because it gives
It's
the
not the
guideline,
same as
right?
it's not the same as real world.
It's
I said
not.
it
No. Yeah.
forever, like, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter what 25 years in the lab, like,
Yeah.
bullshit. It probably won't last 5 in real world because people
Yeah.
are gonna, do what they do with it, kinda thing. So, yeah. No, it's cool. I mean, I've been doing the same thing with Aquatech for the past couple of years now. When Jason sends me samples of stuff, like, I'll hit up a client and be like, "Hey, you wanna be a guinea pig?" Like, "I got something I wanna try on your vehicle because I know I'll see it regularly,"
Yeah.
and they're like, "Yeah, if you give me a good deal on it." So I'm like, "Hell yeah!" Like, at least I can still make some money, for
Yeah.
doing
Yeah.
the job, but I give them, a really crazy deal. Um, so yeah, I know how that kind of is. I got called out. I tried to make a little video the other day for our installers, as a teaser. It had 3 bottles of our flagship coating and then a blank bottle, which is a tester. Um, I didn't realize that when I because I tried to frame the video to where that's all you saw was those 4 bottles,
Hmm.
but in the background I had probably like 7 other bottles that were just white bottles with yellow tape on them, that kind of what they were. And one of my installers was like, "Hey, that's a cool video, but what are all those other bottles in the back with the yellow tape?
Yeah.
Like, don't you worry about those other bottles.
Yeah.
those those may or may not ever see the light of day." So,
No, I got a good story because when we launched the self healing line,
uh-huh.
and Damon was talking to me. Okay, you guys have to see this. We finally cracked the code on the self healing stuff, and wait 12 hours because this stuff after 12 hours, actually, the gloss is incredible. The
Yeah.
hydrophobic is incredible. So once again, got one of my clients got I think four vehicles that we see every month, and he had a new vehicle, Escalade V, and they say, "Hey, can I put this coating on your V?" Yeah, sure. Yeah, so we install the coating. I drop off at the place, wake up the next morning, and I got a text message from him. What the fuck did you do with my truck? So immediately I
Panic.
brand new coating, right? So I messaged back, "What's wrong?" And they said, "There's nothing wrong, man. I walk into the garage, all cars are coated, and this one just almost glows in the dark. That's
Yeah.
how shiny it is." So, okay,
Nice. Yeah.
I can do that. Yeah,
Yeah. Got some nice gloss enhancers in it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I always say I think, and that's why I mean, it's not the only reason why, but it's one of the reasons why I always like to hold vehicles overnight. Is I feel like they do like gloss up more the next
Mm-hmm,
day.
mm-hmm,
With most coatings, once they start like really kind of, they got that 12 hour,
mm-hmm,
18 hour, 24 hour cure time, and they really start like showing more of their gloss and everything. um that's why I was happy that Sheldon bought that gloss meter for the
mm-hmm,
paint
mm-hmm.
correction competition, and then was like, "Hey man, I don't need this, so if you can use it at your shop," because I play around with it with everything. Like, I'll do before I code a car, I'll just pick a spot on the hood. I'll do
Yeah.
a gloss reading after, like, right after I code it, to kind of see, because I've always felt that initially, um, and a lot of people have kind of agreed with me. Is initially right after you coat the car, it's not as glossy as like when you polished
Mm-hmm,
it. I mean,
mm-hmm,
there's
mm-hmm.
you can see to me you can see that difference. I've taken pictures of, like, hoods of cars polished, and then take the same picture after I've coated it, and you can see a difference in the picture. But then wait 24 hours and put a gloss meter on it, and holy
Oh
shit.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, I did one of our coatings and it went up 10 points in the gloss
Oh,
meter 24
yeah.
hours after I coated it, from polished, to 24 hours after. So I was like, "Oh yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun to do." Um, so yeah, I do it with our waxes, or not our waxes, but like our sealants.
Mm-hmm,
Um,
mm-hmm.
when I play around with other people's stuff, I'm like, oh, let's see how glossy this gets now. So
And that's a great tool. I actually really like that tool. We're on conversations to bring that to Canada as well. Because
nice.
I bought one of those gloss meters, the cheap one on Amazon, and
Yeah.
kid
Oh,
you not, I had
yeah.
a hood that I brought from the junkyard, completely scratched. I took my measurements and then I do the quick two step, and I went and read it, and the gloss was worse technically on the machine. Like that makes no sense. You can look
Yeah.
at it and see it's not like
You can-
in the
yeah.
bin.
Yeah. Daryl, I had a couple of great chats with Daryl uh from Row Point. And he kind of was explaining the technology that's in that tool versus the $200 ones, and
Hmm.
I think it really kind of comes down to that 20-degree light angle, is the big difference. Um, which made a lot of sense because a lot of, I always look, at social media, and you always see detailers putting their light like straight on
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
taking a picture. And then, I've learned from these guys that have been in it, around it, done it since, the dawn of time. And when they do it, they hold the light out at an
Hmm.
angle. And so it's basically kind of the same thing. It's that 20-degree angle that you're hitting because it gives it enough light, but enough kind of reflection on the paint that you can see the swirls. Whereas if you hold it straight on, you're just washing everything out. So it
Hmm. Hmm.
looks pretty. Looks like you didn't, looks like you got all the swirls and scratches, but then you move it out at that 20-degree angle, and then you're like, oh shit, there's still a little bit of hairs right there that
Yeah,
I got
yeah.
back and get. So yeah, I think that's the cool thing about that tool is just that 20-degree light angle that really, gives it a good reading on all those things. And then the other thing is that tool does so much more than just gloss, which the
Hmm.
$200
Hmm.
ones on Amazon are just kind of reading gloss. They're not reading the haze or the reflective image quality or the DOI or any of that stuff, from what I understand.
No, 100%. It's completely different. I play with it a little bit, and it's completely different from the one you can throw away because
Yeah,
it's not even consistent. If you take two or three measurements, they all different. Like,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, okay, just
yeah.
because I bought a digital microscope to we
Oh,
use
okay,
also on the leather side
okay,
to show the texture of the leather and whatnot. But we use it on the paint side when we're doing the polishing courses to actually show what the scratch is, because we
right,
can talk about scratches and edges and whatnot and how to deflect the angle of the scratch. And but if you show with one of those microscopes that
yeah.
attaches to the phone, it gives you a completely different perspective,
Oh, wow.
and people understand better. So it's a pretty cool tool, and that one is a cheap one that works
Oh, that's
fine.
pretty
But the
cool.
gloss
Yeah,
meter,
yeah,
yeah, buy one of those cheap ones and connect to your phone. You can actually check the scratches. You see like almost like a valley,
oh,
and
wow.
then you polish and kind of
You
lines
can
up
see it.
it
Yeah.
tapers off the edge.
Oh, that's cool.
uh, and the leather the same. If you got seats, there you kind of are these actually dirty or it's just the coating gone and the paint is
Right.
fading.
Yeah,
If you use one of those scopes on the leather, and we teach a lot of that on the course as well.
yeah, you,
It's insane, man. Like what you can see on the leather that looks pristine, and then you scan it and you see all those microfiches and cracks and the
yeah.
dirt piling up in the little crevasses, and it's insane.
Yeah, and then you're like, "Damn, I didn't clean this good enough. I better
Yeah,
go."
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Or you can show them, well, this is gone, and you need to recoat this and
Yeah,
sell them a recoating job.
yeah. Yeah, that's the one thing I think is really cool. I mean, my good buddy is Brian Guy, and,
Hmm. Hmm.
he's been doing a lot of leather stuff over the last couple of years, especially now that he's working with Color Lock and everything. But then, watching the stuff that you guys are doing with the leather repair company. Um, I'll tell you what, man, that's one of the things I love. It's almost when I see those videos pop up on either Instagram or TikTok or something, it to me it's like watching the guy like clean the carpets, right? Like it's so cool to see like how you guys can take a cigarette burn, and then
Hmm.
like patch it, and then like in the perforated seats, you take the ruler and you draw the line so you can like poke the holes and
Yeah.
then like take the lines away, and it like to me it's so fascinating. Like I'm like, man, I would love to learn that. And Brian keeps telling me all the time because he's here in Orlando. He's like, dude, he's like, we'll do a
Come
training.
on.
Like, I'll do it with you. And I'm like, but dude, I only get new cars. Like, I never have an old car come to me that needs any of that stuff. And I feel like I would do the training and I'd be hyped about it, and then it would just be like months go by, years go by, and then I'd finally get one, and I'd be like, "Oh
Oh,
shit,
forgot.
what do I do?" Like I haven't, because just like anything else, right? Like if you don't do it regularly enough, you don't get good at it. You don't get great at it.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
don't become the best at it, and that's how I would feel because a lot of my clients, it's all new cars, or they change their cars out very frequently every 3 or 4 years. So, it's every 3 or 4 years on, hey, Alex, I got a new, just this week, or well, it was last week. He told me about it. One of my clients, he's like, hey, daughter got a new Raptor. When can you get it in? And I was like, well, this week. So I did it this week, and, um, she had her last one for maybe 3 or 4 years. So,
Hmm.
I've got one client that I actually have set up for Monday. This will be the first time that they've kept a car long enough for me to code it twice, and they've only had the car maybe 2 years. So the first time when they first got it, it was right when GTEx XOV5 came out, and I was up in Chicago at the content creator event, and Chris from GTEC had samples. And he said, "Hey man, like I know you're doing some other stuff, but you know, just use it. Let me know what you think or whatever." So this couple, they rotate cars every 12 months, like
Hmm.
literally. They did one car one time in 8 months. They got rid of it, and got a new one. So they had gotten this new Bentley, and they're like, look, dude, like, we're tired of spending, all this money for, you know, 4 year coding, 5 year coding or whatever. We only keep the cars a year. And I said, well, look, I got this new coding to try out. It's only good for, it's a 1 year coding, guinea pig it, and I'll do it, at a super discounted price. And so they're like, great. So that coding lasted a good probably 12 to 14 months before it kind of started failing because it's not a super daily driven car or whatever. Um, and then I said, hey, look, coding's failed. Um, you guys going to get rid of the car or do we need to do it again? And the wife was like, well, unless he's buying me that new, um, Rolls Cullen, what is it, the Cullen,
The
the
color, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
The
she goes,
Culligan, yeah.
"Unless he's buying me that," she goes, "We're redoing this one." And I said, "Okay." And he goes, "No, we're not getting you that one. We're remodeling the house, and that's gonna cost, the price of the Cullinan." So this is the first car for them that they've had long enough for me to do another, short-term coding on.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's everything I always get is new cars. So I'd love to learn that stuff, man, just because I think it's cool, it's fascinating. But
It's, yeah.
um, you know,
We got
I,
people that come just actually to attend the course to see what it's all about.
yeah,
We're doing one with Rupes in September. It's a 2 day paint correction and 1 day with
leather repair,
leather repair. And
nice.
that Road FS actually gonna join that one too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I went to the Angel Wax training up at Rashid's when um Rod was there doing the leather repair stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
because that was the one that Jody got um, uh, his flight from New York got delayed and he couldn't make it
Hmm.
down or
Hmm.
something.
Yeah.
So it was just Rod. Yeah, I mean, I didn't go to like the whole weekend thing. I just as what did I do? I think I went up there on a Sunday or something, or maybe yeah, I think I went up there on the Sunday because I didn't have anything going on, and it was like just shy of a 2 hour drive from
Hmm.
from my house to Rashid's shop. So I was like, yeah, I'll go up there and hang out with the boys and see what's going on and everything. So I went up there for a few hours and chilled with them. So that was fun.
Those two are always good companies.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Top notch.
Yeah,
That's good.
Rain was there, so it was Rain shenanigans
Yeah,
and Rashid shenanigans and
yeah.
Rod being Rod and then a couple other guys. So it was pretty good. Um, so no, it's I like those. I like trying to get to those things if I can, just because that's to me that's family. That's hang out.
Uh,
In
it's
MTE and SEMA are MTE is so far away from SEMA but or I should say SEMA is so far away from MTE, but then MTE is really close to SEMA. So like you get this, you know, what, like 9 months, 10 months that, unless you know, go to some of these smaller events, you don't get to really like see family. And then,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then you get to see family at SEMA and then a couple months later you get to see them at MTE. So yeah, if I can, anything's close by that to me that I can get to, I try to go to um, just to see the family, so to speak.
Come and check us out on June
I
with the
will. I
leather
will,
print.
man.
Yeah, just come over. We're gonna
Yeah,
be in Orlando 3 days.
yeah.
OP,
It's only
LRC.
it's only like a
Even if you do the first day, which is like leather ID and the cleaning, not so
yeah,
much the repair. The day one is mostly identify what's leather actually, what
yeah,
types of leather, and
yeah.
then the cleaning part adapted to different types of leather. And
Wait,
then day
when did you
two,
say that is? June what?
June 26th, day one of leather. And 25th, we're going to have IDA certifications.
Shoot,
And
I might be out of town.
uh,
I just might be out of town.
I'll shoot you the dates anyways after the call.
Yeah, we yeah, 27th and 28th. I might be able to come the 26th.
Yeah, 26. Or
Yeah, the 27th and 28th, that's a Friday, Saturday. We're trying to go to Dallas or DFW. There's a couple, Aaron and John. I had them on the podcast before. They own the refinery
oh yeah,
de-
I
details.
remember that show. Yeah,
Yeah, um, and they started distributing our consumer products,
hmm,
and it's been doing really well for them. So we want to go there and kind of support them, and they want to have us there to kind of, hey, Aquatech is coming to town, do like a little meet and greet, maybe like some demos and stuff like that. So right now the tentative dates is that Friday, Saturday, the 27th, 28th. So maybe I can come that Thursday, the 26th before I go or something.
on the way to the airport.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that'll
It's
be.
super fun. Last one I had Todd from Rupes. He's a leather geek. Totally, he
Oh,
knows as
really?
much as us about leather.
Oh, nice.
We can talk all day about leather. He's got
Yeah,
his jacket
and
that he
and
brought
he's
in.
and he's local too. Like he lives
Mm-hmm,
here,
mm-hmm.
so
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So it's yeah,
He just swung by, and the guys had no clue because a lot of the guys were not on the detailing side.
okay.
Because that's the part of it. It's not just detailers. Like we
Yeah.
get guys. In that one, we had a couple of people, furniture companies in New
Oh
York.
wow.
We had guys like renovations. It's not just confined to the detailing side.
Oh, that's cool.
Actually, yeah, Richard's teaching the advanced course this week in Colorado, and it's everything from spring replacement to foam replacement in couches,
Oh wow.
uh, the repairs, the traditional repairs. The system is the same, either
Yeah.
you're doing a couch or whatever, and wood repairs as well.
Oh,
like if
okay.
you're doing furniture, touch ups on wood. So that's a big market outside the automotive. If you go to hotels, restaurants, so we train a lot of people outside of the auto
Yeah,
industry.
and the cool thing about that stuff too is you really kind of learn, you really kind of learn what leather is in a sense. I mean, I
Hmm.
remember the
Hmm.
first time, me and Brian were having this talk when he first started getting into it, and he was telling me about like all the different cuts of leather and this and that, and he's like explaining it to me, and I was like the Julia Roberts meme with like all the like math symbols in it, because I was like, holy shit, dude, like you like have like dove into this head first, and then that's when he started like making stuff. So
Yeah.
I actually asked him, it was for my wife's birthday. I asked him to make her a purse. And
Hmm.
I mean, this purse he made her, like, I swear to God, if it had a name on it, it'd be, a 15, $20,000 purse, just because of the
Oh, yeah.
leather, the quality of the leather,
Hmm.
one, the craftsmanship that went into it. I mean, like, he's like, man, I don't have like a sewing machine, so all this is like hand sewn. And I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, dude, I got to punch all the holes by hand and then sew it by. And I was
Yeah.
like, dude, I didn't pay you enough money. Like, I need to give you more. And he's like, nah, don't worry about it. It's just
Oh, that's
whatever. And
awesome.
I'm like,
I was,
crazy.
I was looking at a pair of boots he posted today.
Oh yeah,
Like those
the
things are freaking
yeah,
beautiful. Like,
the Air Jordan ones that he did. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
yeah,
the,
he really does some really nice stuff. Like all those hats that he wears, he makes all those
yeah,
hats
yeah,
and everything. And it's funny because he told me he's like, I got so much stuff that. And I'm like, "Why don't you sell it on?" He goes, "Nah." He's like, "It's not good enough." And I'm like, "Dude, I'm
it
sure
is.
you
Yeah,
found it some way."
it is.
He was telling me he's got like, I forget how many, but he's like, he just like will randomly make wallets, and he'll just mess one up. So he just like he's like, it's not perfect, and I'm like, who cares? Like, sell it, dude. Like, I'll buy a wallet off of you or whatever. But it's crazy when you do those courses or whatever, and you learn like really what's involved with leather, you realize like, okay, your leather seats aren't really leather,
Hmm. Most
you
of
know,
the time, yeah.
yeah,
Most of the time, they're not.
yeah, the $1,500, $2,000 Louis Vuitton purse that your wife, wants is
It's
probably
just
not
plastic.
leather. Yeah, that
So
was the main thing.
both on the vehicles and on the furniture side, we have a lot of people coming up, and yeah, I got this couch that I paid whatever thousands of dollars, and
Yeah,
this is the top tier of leather, Italian leather, and
yeah,
we
yeah,
go check it out, and yeah, that's a knockoff leather. It's not
yeah,
leather, and they actually get mad at us. We had a lady in Canada. Richard was there for one of the detailing summits, and the lady comes up, and the watch was really good synthetic leather. We had doubts. We actually
uh-huh.
had to burn a little bit, just kind of figure out if it wasn't or not.
Okay.
And when we told the lady it was a synthetic material, she almost called the names and almost started crying because she was mad at us, not at the guy that sold the
Right,
couch
yeah,
to her
yeah,
and
yeah.
charged her 5,000 extra
Well,
dollars for
'cause
the
yeah,
premium top
you
leather.
you guys were the ones that spoiled the
The dream.
fantasy, like that's like
So
when the guy comes up to you and he's bragging about his car, and you're like, "Oh, but you got all these swirl marks," and they're like, "What are you talking about?" And you point them out, and you just see all the air go out of their face, they're
yeah.
like, man, I remember the last guy I told that to, because he was bragging about, having his car ceramic coated this and that and yada yada yada. And I was like, man, how long ago? I was like, because you got some swirl marks, and he's like, what? It was just like a couple weeks ago. And he's like, what are you talking about? And the sun was just hitting on it right. You could see him spider webbing out.
Yeah.
And I said, well, right here. And he looked at it, and like just all the emotion went out of his face. It was like I just punched him in the gut, into, just like
Yeah. Yeah.
all his air gone. And after that, I was like, I'm not pointing that out to anybody anymore unless they say, "Hey, I got some things I need it polished out." Like if they're asking me about polished jobs, then I'm like, "Yeah, you got some spider webbing here, you got some micro marring here, like whatever." Anybody else, like, "Yeah, man, your car looks awesome. Good job."
Awesome.
Yeah,
Good. Keep it up.
yeah. I'm not trying to like ruin anybody's day again. And that guy was asking me about detailing another car, and I never saw him again. And I was like, oh yeah, I fucked that one up.
That's the
Yeah,
guy. No,
yeah,
but leather, it's an incredible world. I also went down on the rabbit hole, and we kind of keep on digging and finding more stuff.
yeah,
And Richard's a world of knowledge on that stuff. He's been doing
yeah,
this for over 30 years, and he's been to everybody and everyone, like Bentley and
wow,
Rolls Royce. He works with all these big brands and developing these products too. Like it's his life achievement. It's all
yeah,
the love that it puts on the products and the leather itself. It's incredible.
yeah.
So
And
it's
that's
been a
that's
pleasure.
that's another thing I think a lot of detailers don't really invest in is proper leather cleaning and conditioning.
Hmm.
Because from my understanding, there's really only four companies that in the detailing space, I feel like that are um, like true leather products. So Leather
Hmm.
Repair Company being one, Color Lock being two, Geist is
Hmm.
three, and then Colorique or Leatherique
No,
is
there
the
is like,
fourth one. Yeah, Leatherique.
yeah.
Other than that, sure, everybody else makes a leather conditioner or a leather cleaner. And for everybody's watching, I am using quote air quotes for that because I mean, yeah, I mean, sure, it's a conditioner, it's a spray on, wipe off, or whatever. But those four brands, I feel like make like true leather
Hmm.
leather cleaning products and leather conditioning
Yeah.
products, and
Yeah.
and that's even another thing that I've noticed. When Brian was kind of showing me some things is you know a foaming leather cleaner versus a spraying cleaner, because
Hmm.
a
Hmm.
foaming leather cleaner you can put on and not have to worry about it staining or etching the dye or the color,
Hmm.
versus if you've got a spray leather cleaner that's maybe, let's be real, most people are probably using an APC, or
APC, and
and
you see the
right.
drop lines where the product went down on the. Yeah.
Exactly. Whereas with a foam, you don't have, or
Yeah.
or you foam it on the brush and then brush it on or
Hmm.
whatever. So yeah, I mean that's another thing that I think a lot of detailers kind of miss. And I did for the longest time until, thankfully I was, fortunate enough to meet Brian when he was with Swissvax. And then so when he made that, and Swissvax made some leather stuff or whatever, but when he
Hmm.
made that
Hmm.
that changed to color lock, he really kind of explained it to me a lot more for me to understand, like, okay, okay, so if I am doing these, quote unquote leather seats or whatever, I need to be using something
The
that,
proper product. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's,
Especially high-end stuff. If we're working, like you said, with the Bentley, which
yeah.
actually is still leather, you're gonna need.
Surprisingly, that Bentley, so it's a Bentley Continental GT,
Hmm.
200 and something $1,000 car. It's got cloth seats.
What? That's a first.
I
I never
s-
see it. I've done a
I-
lot of Bentleys in my life, but
that's what I said. I said, "You bought a $200,000 Bentley with cloth seats?" He's like, "It's badass, bro." And I'm like, I mean, yeah, it's badass. It's a Bentley, but cloth seats? What the? Yeah, it's
is it
got
like
black.
a just black or like a
It's so
pattern? Like
so
Porsche
it
has some cool cloth seats.
no,
Like
no,
yeah.
it's black. It's like black outer sections, and then the center part of the bottom and the center part of the back is like an off-white
Hmm,
cloth.
not microfiber.
No.
Hmm, okay.
Well, I don't think it's
It might
microfiber.
it might be some kind of microfiber.
Maybe okay, so when she drops it off, we're gonna do the coating, and because the inside's never really been cleaned because it's just really her, the wife in the car. Um, I mean, maybe the daughter, but the daughter's like 17 or whatever, so it's not
Hmm.
like a kid eating French fries and whatever. In fact, she even told me she's like, we never even get food in this car. She's like, refuse. So like, I've only ever vacuumed it out. Um, but I've never, I never really paid attention to if it's maybe microfiber. Now I have to look at it. It's just
Now we gotta.
I'm
I'm
always like,
curious. Now we
yeah, I'm always like,
gotta.
I'll take a picture and send it to you when they
Yeah,
drop
yeah,
it off
yeah,
on
yeah.
Monday. I'm like, how do you buy a $200,000 Bentley and it comes with cloth seats? Like, what the, like,
There's some really cool microfibers coming out, and I had
uh,
a buddy bought a brand new Kia, like super high tech new
uh,
Kia, and it, yeah, I love the car, but it comes with cloth seats, and uh, it's got leather on the bolsters, and then it's cloth in the center.
yeah,
Okay, maybe, but then he got in, and it was some really cool microfiber. It
yeah.
looks like cloth, but it's not. Yeah.
I think that's how Michelle's Audi is. Her SQ5 has, and I thought it was Alcantara at initially because it didn't feel like cloth,
Hmm.
um, because it's the leather on the bolsters and everything, and then the center parts are a cloth material. And I always thought that was kind of an Alcantara, because it does kind of have that. And you're right, maybe it's microfiber because it does have that. Like if I if you brush the seat one way and then back the other way, you can
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
make a pattern in it.
Hmm. Hmm.
But yeah, on the Bentley, I don't know. Like I'll have to.
Now we gotta see it. Send me
Yeah,
some pictures.
I know. I know. I'm going there tomorrow to I think because they're dropping the Bentley off Monday, I'll probably wash the husband's truck. Um but now I don't know if I'll be able to wait till Monday. I'll go in the garage, and I mean I got to go in the garage anyways to do the Rover. I'll just open the Bentley and take a look at the seat or whatever. I'll take a picture and send it to you tomorrow. So,
That's the case. I'll send you a week of the Alcantara cleaner. You're gonna love that stuff. It's
yeah.
insane. Yeah,
Nice.
it's
Yeah.
pretty neat.
Okay. Yeah, because the Alcantara cleaner I have now, I think is just color lock stuff. And I just have a small bottle of that because I don't do a lot of cars with Alcantara. Like the only reason I even bought that one was one of my clients had a um what was it? It was a 29 was it I think it was maybe an 18 or a 19 ish GT3 RS.
Hmm.
So it's got, the Alcantara steering wheel and the Alcantara on the doors and Alcantara on the seats. And um, that's the only time I've bought Alcantara cleaner for anything. Everything else that remotely looks like Alcantara, like I've asked Brian about it and he's like, it's not real Alcantara, just clean it. And I'm like, okay. So,
The AMGs, you'll find it on the AMGs as well.
yeah,
Oh yeah,
I don't do a
yeah.
lot of Mercs, which is weird because there's a Mercedes dealership like probably a mile from my shop. Um, and I do more Audis. The Audi dealership's about a mile from my shop too, but I do more Audis. I feel like um, I don't know. It seems like it's weird. The Audi dealership and the Mercedes dealership are right here in town where I'm at, but I feel like I see more Audis around. I
Hmm.
don't know if
Hmm.
maybe it's just because I own Audi, so I'm just
So you look, yeah,
yeah
you look at the Audis.
yeah. Yeah, I'm either like looking to see if they're also like cool SRRSs, or I'm like, looking down like, you got the poor
Yeah,
man's
I got
E3, and
that.
I'm pulling up in the RS3 like, you just got an A3, okay, like,
Yeah.
and I can do that now because I drove poor cars for the longest time. That now, now I've got nice ones that can feel that way. Yeah,
That's a good part of having the lifestyle business.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
right.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I
So,
miss those days, one man show in my garage studio, and sometimes I look back and it was way less stressful back then.
yeah, but sometimes it's not because then you're like, when it's I feel like a lot of times it's feast or famine. I mean, this industry is always kind of feast or famine, I feel
It's
like,
always like that. Yeah, yeah,
Um, yeah, I mean, at least I don't have to worry about like feeding employees in a sense. But sometimes I feel like, well, shoot, maybe if I did have some employees, like I could bring more work in because it's not just me,
yeah.
because I remember the first time like some lady pulled up at my shop and she had a Suburban and it was trashed out. I didn't really want to do it anyways, but I quoted her some crazy high price um, and she was like, okay, well, when can you get me in? And I was like, 2.5 weeks out. She's like, you need to hire somebody. And I was like, ma'am, I'm not going to hire
I
somebody
will.
just to pay them to do your car because you can't wait 2.5 weeks for me to do it. And,
Yeah,
by the time I pay them and all my materials and this and that, I'm really not making much off of your car. So not going to do it.
yeah.
But no, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've had employees. Obviously, I've managed, multi-million dollar car washes and had, 40, 50 employees under me and then been by myself for so long. And I think there's pluses and minuses on both sides of it. I mean, there's
100%.
there's always going to be a headache. There's always going to be, oh my God, I'm so glad I'm doing this versus, kind of thing. Um, the only thing I really miss is the camaraderie of like working with
Hmm.
people, you know.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I'm getting a little bit older, I'm getting a little more curmudgeonly in a sense, and I'm kind of like, I feel like I'd probably be working with stupid people anyway, so like it probably piss me off. So good
Yeah.
thing that I do work on
Yeah.
myself. I can turn the music up real loud in the shop and
Yeah.
just go to it or
Same. My
yeah,
my thing was headphones, noise cancellation, and podcasts.
yeah,
That was my thing. Now with the shop and phones ringing, and there's always between LRC and OP and
yeah,
Apex. That's gonna
yeah,
be,
yeah.
yeah. The phone is ringing more and more, so I got no time to actually do any work, and
Right, right.
uh, even finishing a podcast.
Yeah,
And that was my passion, like
yeah,
detailing podcasts, fitness podcasts, whatever. It's I I prefer to learn while I'm working,
yeah, yeah.
focusing on
Well,
the
to
podcast.
to me, it's kind of to me, it's either podcast or music, and it depends on what the job is that I'm doing. I feel like when I'm correcting paint, and I need to pay attention to what I'm
Hmm.
doing, like it's music, because then to me, music is just background noise.
Hmm.
A lot of it is the same song I've heard a bajillion times.
Hmm.
From wherever. For me, podcasts are interior work, simple things like wash clay seal jobs, or like when I go do my monthlies on Friday or Saturday, like I can put on a podcast, because to me that type of work is more um it's just going through the motions, you
Hmm.
know
Hmm.
wash car, dry
Yeah,
car,
yeah,
do windows, vacuum
yeah.
car, it's like, so that I can listen to a podcast and I can pay attention to the podcast because I'm not really paying attention to the work. Although sometimes that'll get me in trouble because I'll get done with a car and I'm like, ah, man, that seemed like I did that car really fast. Did I forget to do
Forget
something?
something.
Yeah, and I have to go like, okay, no, no, I did pull the vacuum cleaner out of the car, so I know I vacuumed it. I'll open the doors. Okay, door jams are done. Windows don't have fingerprint. Okay, so I did that.
Yeah.
I definitely washed the car because I just emptied my bucket. So like, yeah, sometimes like you just you don't pay attention to what you're doing, and then next thing you do, you're it's almost kind of like and I hate to use this reference, but I'm sure we've all done it. You're driving in the car, and then you're like, oh shit, I'm here already. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah.
what happened to the last 10 miles? Like,
And that's what I liked with the podcast, man. Honestly, first of all, like you said, some of the events are too far spread out. So
yeah,
it's like hanging out with the friends,
yeah,
right? Because
yeah,
you hear the voices and you laugh at the jokes and
yeah,
whatnot. So it's kind of hanging out with the guys and
yeah,
listening to the podcast. And thank God we have really good podcasts in the
yeah,
industry.
yeah. We do.
So we're
Yeah,
we're blessed with that
yeah.
quality over
We do have
quantity.
some good ones. Just listen to mine more. Um,
Yeah, award winning.
yeah, yeah, and it's crazy. Like we've spent the last we've been remodeling the house for like the last 5 weeks. We did the primary. I call it. I guess I have to call it the primary bathroom now. I can't call it the master bathroom anymore. Apparently, um, so we did the remodeled the primary bathroom and did all new flooring throughout the house and everything. So everything's so discombobulated. So my podcast room is a shell. Like I actually had to because they were doing the floor in here this week. So
Mhm.
after the podcast last week, I had to like rip everything apart, go move it, put it away in different drawers and stuff. And so right before our podcast, I had to put it all back together. But I don't have my little thing behind me with all my things. So for the last month and a half of doing podcasts, I haven't had the microphone
The
behind
setup,
me.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So the microphone's actually in the the office where when my wife works from home because she does 1 day a week from home. It's actually in her office because we moved a bunch of stuff over to there when they started working on this part of the house for the flooring. So it's funny, the microphone's actually on her desk in her office.
So
So
branding watermark will be the
yeah,
microphone
yeah,
on the corner up there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I started doing that with the thumbnails. Was
Hmm.
I put a gold mic on the thumbnails for all the episodes now instead of just a regular microphone. And part of me has been well, not part of me has been, I've been looking on Amazon. Part of me wants to buy a new microphone that's gold.
Like a gold gun.
Yeah,
Get the
yeah.
gold mic.
Yeah, yeah, they have them. I mean, the Shure ones are like stupid expensive, but I could get a cheap one for like, this is a pretty cheap microphone. I could get a cheap one like this for probably like $40. It's just gold,
No, we gotta do
gold
it.
painted or
No.
something. So yeah, so now that now that we have advertising money coming back in, for anybody who's listening to this going like, oh, there's ads again.
Hint, hint.
Yeah, I tried to do it without ads, but the wife said, "Hey, this podcast is costing us too much money. You need to go and sell ads again." So
Sweet.
yeah, so we'll see how that goes. But
Golden mic. I vote for the golden mic.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Once those detailed image and auto fiber uh, checks clear, maybe I'll go on Amazon and buy one for $40. uh, Well, listen, Paulo, you're on vacation, man. I don't want to take up too much more of your time. It's also getting close to bedtime here. So, thanks for coming on and doing this kind of short notice, especially during your vacation. It's always a joy to talk to you, man. I appreciate it so
My
much.
pleasure. Yeah.
And yeah, I'll take a look if we, with that trip, if we do it to Dallas or something, maybe I can try to come that first day that you guys uh, are
Yeah,
doing your
please do.
thing down here. I'll check my schedule once we figure everything out and come and hang out with you guys or something like that. So,
If
I,
not, you got Rupes and LRC in September.
okay,
Big event. That's going to be a fun one because,
okay,
like you're saying, we it's not just the paint correction part of it.
yeah,
It's as important to deal with the interiors properly. So they kind of
absolutely,
invited us to co-host that one. It's going to
yeah.
be fun.
No, that's awesome. I like that they're kind of starting to do some more of that, like
Hmm.
collab stuff.
Yeah.
Um, I guess as long as you don't bring a polish in there or a compound in there, you can bring your other stuff. From what I've been told.
Yeah. It's going to be fun. We're not
Yeah,
going to polish leather seats though.
yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. Listen, man, have a great time while you're down here.
Thank you.
Safe travels back and all that stuff. And it was great talking to you. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, likewise, a
Yeah,
pleasure finally being on this.
Yeah. It's one of those things, like, there's too many people and not enough time to really kinda talk to everybody, so it's like, I always feel bad that I don't ask people enough, or, like, I feel like I don't get to them soon enough, but it's kinda like, I get to you eventually kinda thing.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Everything's got this timing, so perfect.
exactly, exactly.
Good.
All right,
Have a
buddy, well,
good
yep.
night.
Yes, sir, you do the same. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.